In common with other programming languages, PHP uses the term string to refer to text. Strings need to be enclosed in quotes, and you can use either single or double quotes, but there is an important difference in how they work. So let's explore that difference. We'll also take a look at what are known as escape sequences in PHP strings. I'm going to begin by creating a variable to store the title of one of my favorite books. And I'm going to use single quotes, and the editing program that I'm using automatically inserts the closing quote, and it puts the cursor between the two quotes ready for me to start typing. So the book is called The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and as soon as I type that apostrophe S, the closing quote disappears in my editing program, and my editing program brings up code hints, thinking that I'm going to be doing something else. I'm going to ignore that for the moment and just carry on with the string. So Guide to the Galaxy. And then my closing quote. And my editing program thinks there's something wrong here. It's giving me two quotes. I don't need that second one. Get rid of it and then put in the semicolon. And I've got wavy red lines underneath all of this text here. And that's one of the real advantages of using an editing program that checks your syntax as you're typing. So the problem here is that quotes must be in matching pairs, and PHP sees this apostrophe in hitchhikers as the matching closing single quote, so all of the rest of the string is regarded as garbage. One way to deal with this situation is to insert a backslash in front of the apostrophe. So if I put my insertion point there and put in a backslash, those wavy red lines disappear. The syntax error has been corrected. This is what is known as an escape sequence. The backslash tells the PHP engine to treat the following character as part of the string. So we can now test this. Let's just use echo and then book. Save that and load the page into the browser, and it displays Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy with that apostrophe in there. Now, I think that this looks rather ugly. It makes it difficult to read if you've got backslashes there. So there's another way around this, and that's to use a double-quoted string. So let's just duplicate that line, and then I'll comment out the previous line, get rid of that backslash, and then change the opening quote to a double quote, and the closing one also to a double quote. No syntax errors there. Let's save that page, refresh the browser, and it's still working. And I think this is much more elegant. It makes it a lot easier to read. So mixing and matching your quotes, if you've got single or double quotes inside of a string, makes your code a lot easier to maintain. But what if I wanted to display Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy in quotes? Well, that's done easily enough. Let's just duplicate that line, and we'll comment out the previous line. What we do is we put this into single quotes, so we can have our double quotes inside our single quotes. And let's put a single quote at the end. My editing program has given me an extra one. Let's just get rid of that. And of course, we've now got this syntax error again because the opening single quote here is matching the apostrophe in the middle here. So we do need to escape it this time. Do that. The syntax error goes away. Save and refresh the browser. We've now got Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy being displayed inside double quotes. You've probably got the message by now that if you want to use double quotes inside a double quoted string, then you need to use a backslash in front of those double quotes. So let's just try that. Duplicate this line again, comment out the previous one, and we're going to change this to a double quote. And I've got an extra one in there, which I don't want. Let's get rid of that. We need a backslash. We don't need this backslash here, but we need a backslash in front of that double quote there, and then right at the very end, we need another double quote, and everything looks fine. Just save that, refresh the browser, and it is still working. But I think that having more backslashes than you really need in a string looks rather ugly. It makes it difficult to read, and being difficult to read makes it difficult to maintain. So I think the best way of handling this particular situation was the previous one, to have single quotes, the double quotes inside there, and the backslash in front of the apostrophe. But what if I want to incorporate this variable into a string? Well, let's try that out with single quotes. I'm going to comment out that. And then at the end of the line, I'll have echo and then single quotes, I love book. Don't forget that semicolon at the end. Save that and refresh the page in the browser. And it displays I love $book. And this is the vital difference between single and double quotes. Anything enclosed in single quotes is treated as literal text. So you don't get the value of the variable, you get the variable itself. So let's see what happens if we change this to double quotes. So let's just comment out the previous one. And then we'll change the single quote there to a double quote. And the same at the end of our string. Save that and refresh the page in the browser. This time, the value of book is displayed in the string. So if you ever want to incorporate a variable in a string, you need to use double quotes. The double quotes act as a signal to the PHP engine to process any variables which are inside the string. But double quotes process not only variables, they also process special escape sequences. These are the most common escape sequences that are used within double quotes in PHP. Later in this course, you'll use new line and carriage return escape sequences when building scripts for email. The important thing to remember about escape sequences is that the only one that works in single quoted strings is \apostrophe or \single quote. All other escape sequences must be in double quotes. If you try to use them in single quotes, the backslash is treated as literal text. Double quotes process variables and escape sequences, so why not use double quotes all the time? Surely they're better. Well, not necessarily. Most coding standards for big projects such as WordPress recommend using single quotes for literal text, but this isn't a hard and fixed rule. The main consideration should be to reduce the use of backslashes. If you're creating a string that contains quotes or apostrophes, choose whichever combination uses the fewest backslashes. It'll make your code easier to read and maintain.